From the shores of Malibu, heading south along PCH down to Newport Beach, each pier along the coast holds a piece of Southern California's history.
People come here for the sunset and the drinks and the view.
From the carnival glow on the Santa Monica Beach Pier that has lit up summer nights for over a century, to the sandy courts of Manhattan Beach where sports legends take center stage. They are the heart of the community, bridges between past and present, and each pier has its own story. Standing as a unique symbol of resilience in the South Bay, the Redondo Beach Pier weathered a devastating fire and severe storms. Down the coast, the iconic Huntington Beach Pier stands as a beacon for young surfing phenoms hoping to master the waves in Surf City, USA.
Good Southside bowl, and it's like a barreling left, and it's the best.
And just south of Huntington Beach, the Newport Beach Pier is home to a unique local tradition.
This is pretty much the best shrimp you can get.
The Dory Fleet Fish Market. It's run by generations of fishermen working side by side, bringing in the freshest catch of the day for over a century. On this Spectrum News 1 special, Pillars of the Coast, a history of SoCal piers, we tell the stories of the coastal pillars that helped shape seaside communities, supported the local economy, and became gathering places for generations, and the heart of Southern California's beach towns. Hi everyone, I'm Nikki Kay, and welcome to Pillars of the Coast, a history of SoCal piers. I'm here at the Santa Monica Pier, perched at the edge of the historic Route 66. Built in 1909, the Santa Monica Pier isn't just a picture-perfect West Side landmark, it's a living slice of California history. From classic carnival vibes to iconic ocean views, the Santa Monica Pier has been a SoCal staple for over a century. But it's not the only pier with a story to tell. We start up the coast in Malibu, where the Malibu Pier has a historic legacy all its own. Originally built in 1905, the Malibu Pier has evolved into a symbol of surf culture and resilience. After the devastating wildfires, the pier stands as a beacon of hope and renewal for a community rebuilding from the ashes. It's also where world-renowned surfer Laird Hamilton found a special connection not just to the waves, but to the community and the culture. Our Chase Beach has the story.
It's a city that's no stranger to fire, but the past few months have tested Malibu. The Franklin and Palisades fires burned thousands of acres and destroyed hundreds of homes. Yet through it all, this 780-foot wooden pier has survived. World-renowned surfer and Malibu local Laird Hamilton says he's grateful.
And Malibu is obviously a special pier. First of all, it's right at an incredible surf break.
That wave is known as Surf Rider, and it's synonymous with the pier and with Hamilton himself, who on several occasions has shot the pier, surfing through the pilings. It's a dangerous maneuver, but for Hamilton, a lifelong surfer and water sports innovator, it's simply second nature.
To an observer, it looks like, you've lost your mind, but to the rider, it's a natural thing. In Malibu, the pier is part of the landscape.
And it has been for 120 years. Today, the pier is best known as a place to watch world-class surfing, grab lunch, and maybe capture the perfect social media post. But in 1905, it was built for business. Commissioned by Frederick Hastings Rindge, a Massachusetts transplant who purchased large swaths of land in Malibu and ran a ranch. Barbara Tejeda is supervisor for the Cultural Resources Program with the Angeles State Parks. She says there weren't any roads in and out of Malibu, so the pier was the best way to get supplies here.
So they built the pier originally to bring in all the rails and the wood and everything to build out the railway, and then later it was used to move goods in and out of the ranch.
By the 1930s, Barbara says the family opened it up to the public.
Then with the addition of the cafe building and the bait and tackle shop in the 40s, it really just became a great spot for fun and recreation.
And during World War II, the buildings on the pier were used as dorms for the Coast Guard. But the pier was facing a battle of its own. Years of storms were wreaking havoc on the structure, and by the 1990s, the pier had had multiple owners and was eventually bought by the state. From there, extensive and complex renovations began. Hamilton says the pier now opens up a world of water to people who might not feel quite as comfortable as him on a wave.
Well, the pier offers people an opportunity to go into the ocean. And again, I think anything that does that is something to be savored, something to be cherished.
From above or below, and for over 100 years, a pier pulling people closer to the ocean.
And while the Malibu Pier brings the community together with its coastal charm vibe, just down the coast here in Santa Monica, the Santa Monica Pier has a unique glow of its own. It's truly a timeless treasure, drawing millions with its iconic solar-powered Ferris wheel, vintage carousel, and oceanfront roller coaster. It's a place where beach culture, pop culture, and nostalgia all collide, captivating visitors for over a century. Our Taylor Torregano has the story.
There's an undeniable energy as soon as you step foot on the iconic wooden boardwalk of the Santa Monica Pier. A pathway leading up to 14 million visitors a year to food, family-friendly fun, and of course, a little fearlessness. It's the vibrancy that made Ian Bowen fall in love 14 years ago, though he lovingly refers to the pier as the end of the trail, the big finish of Route 66, connecting the Midwest here to the Pacific Coast. Ian runs this 66 to Cali gift shop and unofficial visitor center on the pier, swapping his stories and travel tips from across the country with visitors from around the world.
I've got a long list that's been, 14 years in the making of places I should visit. But right now, I'm lucky enough, the world kind of comes to me.
Ian says traveling the main street of America is about the hearts of each town, connected by the people and their small businesses.
And the pier is very much like that. And getting to hear the stories people have to tell from their travels, the people they've met, the food they've tried, the places they've seen, and especially the unexpected things, is one of the most fun parts of my job.
It's the same for the executive director of the Santa Monica Pier Corporation, Jim Harris, who takes us down the boardwalk to a snapshot of the pier from 1947.
Literally, you could drive your car to the end of the pier, and that's how this became known as the end of Route 66.
But it's not just the end. He says this was the beginning.
Right here we have the pier being built in 1909.
Jim's first job was working as a bartender in 1989 at the old Boathouse restaurant that's now Bubba Gump. A changing of the tides that he says he's honored to help curate and enhance, from fitness programs to the premier Pier 360 Beach Festival featuring paddleboard racing, beach volleyball, even a strongman competition.
Each one of those activities has deep roots here at the Santa Monica Pier or Santa Monica in general. The first ever beach volleyball game, doubles beach volleyball game, was played right next to the pier in 1930. Paddleboard racing started here in the 1930s.
A storied history, bringing this community together in good times and bad. When the Santa Monica City Council voted to demolish the pier back in 1972, the neighborhood came out in droves to stop them. But then,
in the winter of 1983, Mother Nature came and essentially did what the City Council had voted to do 10 years earlier, and actually did wipe out a third of the Santa Monica Pier, including the entire West End. There were two huge storms.
It was the start of a reimagining of the pier we know today. But even with all of the evolution, Ian says it always goes back to the people.
The coolest thing for me are actually the little bit quieter days when I can have a chat with people from all over the world.
Travelers who bring the pier to life, coming from near and far to experience what some consider an interactive living history museum.
Coming up, we're diving into the heart of the South Bay. We are visiting the Manhattan Beach Pier that stands as a shrine to surf and sand, but it's also where AVP beach volleyball legends are born. And later, whether you're a longtime local or just passing through, Tony's on the Redondo Beach Pier is the kind of place where memories are made, one sunset, one Mai Tai at a time. Welcome back to our Spectrum News special, Pillars of the Coast, a history of SoCal piers. Built in 1920, the Manhattan Beach Pier is more than just a postcard-perfect backdrop. It's the epicenter of beach volleyball, drawing the sport's biggest stars. And every summer, crowds pack the sands for the granddaddy of them all, the AVP Manhattan Beach Open. And for the champions, let's just say they earn a special kind of recognition that you're not going to find anywhere else.
April Ross and Alice Kleiman are the champs here in Manhattan
Beach.
She made her name on the sands below. And then April Ross joined the legends of beach volleyball who have been immortalized on the Manhattan Beach Pier. What does that make you feel, walking up the pier and seeing one legend after the next?
It gives you chills, you know, like it represents the whole history of U.S. beach volleyball on this pier.
Best player in the world. Please welcome April Ross.
The SoCal native is retired now, a decorated career that included 3 Olympic medals.
USA Beach Volleyball voted her Athlete of the Year 5.
But April says the legacy she forged here is among her most prized accomplishments. What is special about winning on the sands of Manhattan Beach?
Beach volleyball is so big in Manhattan Beach, and we have some very zealous fans.
The Manhattan Beach Open, the granddaddy of them all, is considered the sport's most prestigious event. Since the tournament began in 1960, tradition has winners cemented into the Volleyball Walk of Fame, each team, men's and women's, receiving a plaque. April has 4.
Taking photos after the tournament, and we were on such a high, and then you get to go up to Shellback and you have your table and you get your beers, and just a fun celebration.
In his photo gallery just up the street, John Post has had a big picture view of the pier's importance to this community.
Manhattan Beach Pier it's become a international attraction.
He snapped his first photo of the pier in 1969. It's been the focus of his lens ever since, and he's had a front row seat watching the sport of beach volleyball bloom.
Manhattan Open. You know, people would come down, they put their beach chairs around the volleyball courts.
For April, no matter where she's played in the world, there is nothing quite like the environment of playing in Manhattan Beach's very own Wimbledon.
You know, the stands are always full, and so it's a really exciting environment every time.
The Manhattan Beach Pier, where champions on the sand are forever eternalized in stone.
And there it is.
Well, for the South Bay community that revolves around beach volleyball, I can tell you the stars shine brightest on the sands of Manhattan Beach. As we continue our tour of SoCal's iconic coastal piers and explore their roots in the community, the Redondo Beach Pier stands tall, a resilient landmark that has weathered it all. High surf and storms, a devastating fire, and a major reconstruction in the 90s. But it remains a South Bay staple with unbeatable sunset views and a go-to hotspot for locals and visitors. Since the 50s, Tony's on the Pier has been serving up fresh seafood, signature cocktails, and old-school charm to locals and out-of-town visitors alike. Our Jazz King has that story.
People come here for the sunset and the drinks and the view.
The views from Old Tony's on the Redondo Beach Pier are second to none. Tony Trutanich Jr. owns the restaurant and is glad his dad chose this location when it opened more than 70 years ago.
Originally, they wanted my dad to open up a spot at the end of the pier, but my dad insisted that he open it right here.
Tony Trutanich Sr. was a World War II veteran and commercial fisherman when he opened the restaurant in 1952.
He had to beg, borrow, and steal just to open this little place.
The restaurant has grown a lot since then. There's 2 floors, and upstairs is a crow's nest where customers can have a bird's eye view of the Pacific Ocean and sip on Tony's famous Mai Tais, which is one of the staples of the restaurant. They come in souvenir glasses that customers get to take home when they leave. Tony's done the math on approximately how many glasses they've given away.
84,000 per year.
That's a lot of glasses that have been given away here at the Redondo Beach Pier. It was originally built in 1889 and was used for lumber trading. 3 major storms that happened in 1915, 1919, and 1988 caused severe damage to the pier, so it had to be rebuilt. Robert Resnick's the president of the Redondo Beach Pier Association. He says the endless pier you see today only came about after another disaster in the 80s.
In 1989, we had a spectacular fire here that burnt down the old wooden pier. The historical pier survived, but there were more pieces of it that burnt down, and it's been rebuilt more with today's standards.
People come to the pier for some fishing, spending time with family, and enjoying some food and drinks. Robert says the pier helps define the city.
It is a great source of pride, and it generates revenue that funds many of the other city services.
For Tony, having the family restaurant be an iconic part of Redondo Beach for decades is a reminder why he thinks this pier is so unique.
Year and a half, we'll be celebrating our 75th anniversary. My goal is to get us to a 100-year anniversary.
That means there'll be a lot more Mai Tais to drink and glasses to be given away at Old Tony's on the pier.
Up next, there's a hidden gem by the Newport Beach Pier that's been around longer than the city of Newport Beach itself. Find out why it draws crowds before sunrise when we return. Welcome back to our Spectrum News special, Pillars of the Coast, a history of SoCal Piers. It's an iconic and busy day here on the Santa Monica Pier, but let's paddle on over to Surf City, USA, where the surfing legends born in the waters of Huntington Beach have blazed their wake in between the pylons of Huntington Beach Pier. Stretching 1,856 feet into the Pacific Ocean, it is the longest recreational pier on the West Coast, and it's also a pillar of surf culture. From the U.S. Open of Surfing to the daily destination for local groms, the Huntington Beach Pier has shaped the careers for some of the sport's best athletes. For Huntington Beach surfers, there's no barrel like home.
Good Southside bowl, and it's like a barreling left, and it's the best. You just drop in, and then you can get barreled and maybe do a turn after with all your best friends.
Chances are this is where you'll find 16-year-old Bailey Turner in the waters just under the Huntington Beach Pier.
Wake up early and go surf, and then I'll go back to shack and come back out, and then usually go back out before dark again. So pretty much all day, just in and out of the water.
A competitive surfer now homeschooled, Bailey is following in the wake of her dad, Huntington Beach Hall of Fame surfer Ryan Turner.
I remember my dad would push me into little waves on the inside, and my brothers would be out the back, and they'd be like, "You have to come out the back," and I was always too scared, and then finally I went out.
President and CEO of Visit Huntington Beach, Kelly Miller, says it's families like the Turners that are the very waves that keep Surf City pumping.
So the magic of this pier, I think, is you're stepping into history. In 1914, think about this, you are here watching George Freeth surf. Henry Huntington brought him down for the first time ever for the people of Huntington Beach and the surrounding area to see a man walk on water.
Good morning and welcome to the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico.
Headlined by the U.S. Open of Surfing and host to over 40 surfing competitions throughout the year, it's a hotspot for shredders of all levels, all ages, and also an incubator for the sport's rising stars.
So any given weekend, you'll see a surf competition somewhere along this almost 10 miles of beach.
And that's why Bailey is hooked. She comes to the pier in pursuit of the ultimate stoke.
It's a good pride, with my whole family being here, and just being from Huntington and coming out of Huntington from this amazing surf community. The best thing, just going down with all your friends. We always go out and surf, and everybody's the best at the pier.
Here at the Huntington Beach Pier, riding with the pride of Surf City, USA. All right, time to head south to Newport Beach. Founded in 1891, before the city of Newport Beach was even on the map, the Dory Fleet Fish Market started as a fishing co-op for local fishermen so they could sell their daily catch. Now, over a century later, the market is still run by families with deep roots in the community. And our own Ryan Thompson caught up with some of the early risers to see what keeps people coming back to this one-of-a-kind coastal market.
On a brisk morning before the sun rises over Newport's pier, hundreds gather waiting to see what's come off the water. This is the Dory Fish Market, where fresh catch is sold straight from the hands of those who caught it.
This is pretty much the best shrimp you can get.
Marcos Voyatsis has been selling here for over 4 decades. Today, he's brought in not just shrimp,
there you go,
but California sheepshead, sculpin, and whitefish.
Everything we have here is wild. Everything we have here is caught up from the ocean. You won't find anything here farm raised or anything like that.
Together with his brother Costas and their wives, they carry on a family business that was started by his late father, a Greek sculptor who came to California with no plans to cast lines for a living.
I started actually baiting hooks with my dad when I was 9 years old, and I think I started running my first boat when I was 16.
The Dory Market was set up at the foot of Newport Beach's pier in 1891. The wharf was a key trade artery, bringing supplies in and out of a booming Southern California. But when the land was sold in 1902, Newport rebranded the area as a fun place to get away. Through decades of change and a 1939 storm that destroyed the original pier, the Dory Market has stayed open and the customers have stayed loyal.
It's a hard business to actually walk away from, you know. You've just been doing it all your life, and I really enjoy doing it.
I haven't been there yet, but that's officially on my list. Well, from Newport to Malibu, Southern California's coastal piers are more than just landmarks. They're symbols of summer and pillars of strength, gathering places for all to enjoy. They are a reminder of what makes the SoCal coastline so unforgettable. I'm Nikki Kay. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.